So we're all really familiar with the term the starving artist. It's a term that's been used for a really long time and usually referred to artists being broke most of their life and not really making any money until they're dead, which doesn't really benefit them much. It benefits only the collectors. We live in a time today that there is no longer the need for artists to starve. Artists today are able to really leverage social media and build a brand and really monetize and be super successful in their lifetime, not only after their death. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Growing up as a child, I saw my father creating art and doing graphic design by hand, but never really made a living off of it. Ultimately ended up selling advertising to cover the bills, but art wasn't something that was really lucrative or profitable. Because of that, I've been a creative who's held in the creativity for a really long time in pursuit of entrepreneurship, in pursuit of business, because I knew that I had the necessity of creating financial success. And always had this idea that one day, when I make enough money, I'll be able to go out and pursue some more creative things. Along that path, I've always made friends with a lot of artists, with all kinds of creative people. They're really my tribe. And ended up indirectly being a business advisor to them and always just answering little basic questions on how to go about things, from how do I structure a contract with someone who wants to commission me, and different things like that. This showed me that there is a major gap between creativity and entrepreneurship. And that's something that I put myself on a mission to solve. How do we connect the dots between creativity and entrepreneurship? Today, there are many ways for artists to really be successful, except sometimes it's just the information that they're lacking to bring them to that point. So I said several years ago, I set out to create an event together with a good friend of mine, and the objective was to connect innovation with old companies, so bringing in innovative people to disrupt old businesses that are at the risk of being outdated. The event was called Innovators and Executors. Innovators and Executors was a themed event where the innovators had to dress in white while the executors had to dress in black, triggering engagement, getting good conversation between people. The event did really well, at least more than what we expected for the first time putting together an event. Which led me to start engaging our audience, considering that now we had somewhat of a list and felt the need and the opportunity to engage and connect with them. So after several months of pivoting and trying different things, we created ArtPRNR as a media company that is focused on only promoting positive media, but primarily we're connecting creativity with entrepreneurship while also injecting a little bit of wellness to educate people on how to live better, and promoting a lot of travel, because we have the ability today to be nomadic and successful at the same time. Instagram is extremely important. It's not only an opportunity, but it's a necessity today for every artist to be able to promote themselves and create a brand. You have an opportunity today to be seen all over the world. People everywhere can tap in and discover you, and you never know who that may be. You'll have many people that just love your art and send you likes and comments and maybe send you some direct messages, but then you never know what kind of little deal you might land. It may be a major company that's looking for someone to commission and falls in love with your art, and you hit the jackpot right there. So there are several ways that we're able to leverage Instagram. One is by consistently promoting our own work and sharing our own work, and there are many different ways to get more traffic to that. And another is by collaborating with different influencers, with brands, and many different ways that we're able to generate more to our Instagram. One thing I'd like to emphasize, in the past, many artists, at least artists that I've worked with and spoken with, have this thing where they want to keep everything a secret, and they don't really want to share their techniques, and they're afraid of someone else learning about how they're doing what they're doing, and someone might steal their success. What we've seen in the last 10 years, as everyone's kind of become more public and open with everything that we're doing, people are in love with the process. And artists and creators of all mediums that share that process and show that process to their audiences and create way more engagement, way more interest, and it ends up benefiting them a lot more. You know, some artists will turn to me and say, someone else will steal my idea. You know, someone's gonna steal my technique and they'll create something else. You know, I read something about that a while ago. Wolfgang Puck sells many, many cookbooks all over the world, best-selling cookbooks. Is anyone gonna go and buy his cookbook and then open up a restaurant right next door that'll put him out of business? That didn't happen, because you can't really imitate the creativity. Someone can take your technique and do something similar, but they can never do what you've done for yourself. You know, as you build your audience on social media and you become an influencer, as an artist, you are an influencer because you're inspiring people, you're influencing people every day, and you're sharing your creativity. So how do you avoid becoming a sellout, where you're just getting every single sponsored post, sponsored art, commissioned art, where everything just looks like you have Pepsi and Coca-Cola all over your work? So what many influencers are doing right now are really being very picky with who they choose to work with. So you're not just working with anyone that's going to, you know, throw some dollars at you. You're going to choose to work with companies that really align with your values, that really stand for what you stand for, so that when you're promoting those companies or you're doing work with those companies, your fans and your followers actually appreciate what you're sharing with them, because it's all relative to them. You're not just pushing content at them that is something they're not looking for. You're not disturbing them with content that's not relevant, but you're sharing things that you really stand for. A good example for that are, you have certain influencers that are more in the health and beauty space, and they will stick to brands that align with their values of using natural ingredients, sustainable products. And those are things that their followers appreciate because they're looking for products like that. So you're actually delivering value, and also keeping a little bit of keeping some space in between the different posts. So you're not just using everything as sponsored. You create regular, authentic content as well, and not just all promoted and sponsored content. Something that's really, really important is to really be ambitious. You know, the ArtPRNR is a combination of an artist and an entrepreneur. And today, it takes a lot of drive to do that. You can't just be sitting there and just photographing, you know, your artwork and then putting it on social media and think you promoted it. You can actively go and reach out, look for people that have some kind of relevance or significance, look for brands that you'd like to work with, tag people in your posts, create a list, be professional about it, run it like a business. You know, set up a spreadsheet, list all the brands or all the influencers that you would like to see promoting your work, and consistently tag them, direct message them, reach out to them, send out emails. And you know what? It's a numbers game. You'll have many that'll turn you down, and you'll have some that will pick you up. But the ones that pick you up, you never know who they'll be. I have a good friend who's an artist, and very, very ambitious artist, who's always pushing and promoting himself, and recently has been involved a lot in creating cryptocurrency art. And he's been getting himself out at every single crypto event in Miami. And he just got picked up in Forbes for the second time, and that does a lot for an artist's brand to be seen in a international publication like Forbes, especially when he's associated with crypto. So it takes a lot of drive, it takes a lot of ambition, and it takes a lot of hard work. It's not going to happen on its own, but we do have the tools today to really advance everything that we're doing, and we can really amplify whatever we're doing already if we give it all the energy that we've got. So it's important to recognize that you're wearing the businessman shoes or the businesswoman shoes at some point, or the hat, to actually go out there and put in all the hard work that you need to get that exposure, because it is all there. And something that the internet's really brought together, especially with social media, is a very collaborative attitude. You know, you see people that are very willing and happy to work with you, to collab with you, to do something together, to create positivity together. There's no longer all the red tape that we had before, where either you were super connected because you were born into a very connected family and you ended up in a very connected environment. Today, everyone really has the opportunity to be connected with whatever tribe you want. And it's also important to identify who your tribe is and market to your tribe directly. So think of what are the things that make you unique, what are the things that you love, what are the things that you do besides for just painting. Maybe you like to skate, maybe you like to play guitar, and connect to the tribe that plays guitar. Connect to the tribe that hits the skate park. Connect with them and promote your art to that tribe, because that is your tribe. And from that tribe, your audience will keep on growing, and because they're all connected with other tribes. And they'll keep talking about it with the other tribes, and you will build an international following, which turns into international customers, international sponsorships, and international business. So to be seen as more of an authority than to just be an artist is how you present yourself. Number one is how people will perceive you. So if you're going to present yourself as an authority, you'll be perceived more as an authority. But a great way to achieve that on another level is to actively, if you have the budget for it, work with a PR rep that's able to get you into all kinds of major publications. And if you don't have the budget for it, watch some videos on how to get yourself into publications and do the hard work yourself, and contact every single publication you'd like to be seen in and see if you can write something or feature something or moderate an event so that you're seen as an authority and not just as an artist, if that's what's in your goals. So first off, I'll just respond to the uncomfortable part, is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because to achieve greatness, we have to get uncomfortable. We got to get our hands dirty sometimes and get out of the comfort zone. But however, it can be challenging sometimes to wear multiple different hats. And to try to be the jack of all trades, where you're the artist and you're the one promoting yourself, can be definitely challenging and definitely difficult. So if it's not really your thing and you don't feel like it's something that you want to put your energy into, of course at times you have to, so you do it anyway. But if it's not something that you primarily would like or generally would like to be doing, probably best to either partner with someone who believes in what you're doing that can take that role and wear that hat. If you can't partner with someone, then you can hire someone. Many of the work can actually be done for really, really cheap. You can outsource today. I mean, we've built a global team that's all working remotely, and most of them I've never even met. So you can really outsource a lot of that work. So if you need someone, say, to manage your social media work, first you'd need to have great photography. A good way to reach out for photography, if you ran an ad on Craigslist, you'll be surprised, and say, I'm looking for photography interns to help me work on an art project, your inbox won't stop. I've done it. And I get so many inquiries from student photographers or amateur photographers, but people that just looking for an opportunity to do something cool, be a part of something cool and practice with it. So you can really get a lot of that for free. And then with like management, like Instagram and just general like computer work, there's several sites like Fiverr, Upwork, places that you can outsource and find people in different countries that are very talented and experienced that can do it for a very, very low cost. Another thing also is that as artists, there is a certain camaraderie, not just from other artists, because some artists may get jealous, but you'll find that a lot from art enthusiasts, from people that appreciate the art, are very happy to support the arts. They're very happy to work with artists beyond just making a profit. So it may be someone who's doing something, generally managing social media for big companies, you can't necessarily afford that person. They'd be happy to work with you many times for barter. So you may be able to pay them with paintings and pay them with artwork. Matter of fact, there was an artist in New York several years ago who was practically homeless. He was staying at a friend of mine's house. The guy gave him his basement, and he had no appreciation for the arts. He just felt bad for the guy. He was a nice guy, and he gave him his basement to stay there. And he felt bad to live there for free, so he would give him paintings. Every month he would give him a big painting as a gift. And the guy didn't really understand art. He just took it as a token of appreciation, so he didn't say no. And several years later, the artist got discovered by Mark Echo, who pretty much blew him up, and the value of his paintings went up to like $30,000 a piece. And then the artist actually died a couple of years ago. So that's just one example of people having some, people being there to help out artists and work with artists. Sometimes you just have to put yourself out there and let people know that that's what you're looking for, or that's what you need help with. And it takes being vulnerable. Sometimes people want to create the impression that everything is perfect and I have it all figured out and I don't need help with anything. But you'd be surprised that when you say that you need help with something, people will help you with it. And if you reach out to someone else who's like, hey, you have a great Instagram account, you're promoting your stuff really well, I see your things everywhere, what advice can you give me? Because I'm struggling with it right now. You'd be surprised. People are there. People are very, very collaborative. And there are a lot of good people there that really want to see you be successful. Also with like larger format art, things that are not necessarily paintings, like you mentioned before, sculptures and things like that, are actually very, very valuable today to be installed in public places. Businesses today are utilizing art more than ever. Think of all these, Instagrammable pieces that everyone just wants to take a photograph in front of. The most successful retailers today understand one thing, and that's creating a social media optimized location. That's a location that will automatically trigger people to photograph everything they see there, to photograph themselves with everything they see there. That's a way to go viral without actually asking to go viral. And that's an opportunity for artists to really, really, really leverage that and monetize that, whether you're getting approached by a business or you're reaching out to a local business. If you went out to a local restaurant in your area that had kind of a boring empty wall there and proposed a mural to them, they'll probably pay you for it. And if they don't pay you for it, you get your name on it and probably get free meals for a year or so. Since Instagram created the algorithm and we went out of chronological order, it became a challenge for everyone, and they're always changing it, so you're always at their mercy. First off, the best way to really, bulletproof yourself on that is to build a mailing list. Because your email list is really the only thing that you really own. Instagram can decide tomorrow that they don't like your content and something you did violated their terms, and you're done. You're over. They'll delete your account, and you lost everything you had. You have nothing. So it's very important to drive people to your newsletter, to give them some incentive that they should actually give you their email address. So this way you have, the email is really the only real valuable audience that you really have, because you can take that with you anywhere you go. Everything else is at someone else's mercy. But that's more as far as maintaining that and holding on to what you have. As far as actually creating more of that, it is getting increasingly more and more difficult to have your posts discovered or reached. What I would recommend, if it's something that you're doing on a full-time basis and it's something that you're taking serious in your career, participate in as many different groups and forums on the subject as possible, because it's always changing. There are a lot of Facebook groups with people that are in the industry that are always talking about all the different things and how do you get around them. Some things that I can't vouch for them being effective or not, but they've definitely been used a lot, are engagement groups with power likes. So being part of a group with many people that have strong engagement and strong followings, and every time you post something, they're all liking and commenting on your post in the first 20 minutes, will get you into the discover a lot quicker, because Instagram recognizes that as a valuable post. That may not be relevant anymore based on how quickly they've changed the algorithm. So it's important to always stay on top of that. But ultimately, what they really want to do, what Instagram really wants, is to make money. So the reason they're changing all those algorithms are so that you pay for your boosted posts. So we're not going to get everything for free anymore. We'll have to actually pay to get more promotion. That's a bad thing and a good thing at the same time. Of course, we want to get everything for free, but at the same time, by having the ability to do these boosts, you're able to target specific audiences. And you can go after the people that you really want to go after. So you might spend a little bit of money, and you'll reach the people that you really want to reach. So I would advise to definitely explore that and try doing different boosted posts, something I've been experimenting with a little bit myself lately. But there isn't really like a magic formula to it. We're always at their mercy, and they can always be changing things. Yeah. Yeah. So either contacting them in person, or contacting them online. So if they're businesses that you like, I would just walk in to a business and say, I'd like to speak to the manager, or the owner, or who's the owner. I'm a local artist. Here's some of my work. I think it would look really good on your wall here. I'd love to do something with you here. I have a lot of fans in the area. People would love to see my work at your place. Or just going on a more larger scale, you can just start DMing people on Instagram, and you'd be surprised, people respond. It's a numbers game in that, but it's like it's sales, but you got to go out there and sell yourself and really push it.